1 minute now to get into state. Breathe deeply into your abdomen. Breathe in. Breathe into your genitals. Breathe deep down. As you breathe in, gain height in your pose. As you breathe out, hold that height. Breathe in and breathe out. Today we look at the lover. There are many forms of love. The ancient Greeks spoke of agape, non-erotic love, what the Bible calls brotherly love. They spoke of eros, both in the narrow sense of phallic or sexual love, and in the wider sense of love as bonding and uniting urge of all things. The Romans spoke of amor, the complete union of one body and soul with another body and soul. These forms, and all other forms of love, are the living expression of the lover energy in human life. We believe that the lover, by whatever name, is the primal energy pattern of what we call vividness, aliveness, and passion. The lover archetype is primary to the psyche, also because it is the energy of sensitivity to the outer environment. I'd like to make a point right now, and if I may, I'll use the yin-yang symbol again. The lover is the more feminized version of masculine energy. It is the most feminized aspect of it. And I'll show you what I mean. Once this thing works, of course. Imagine that this is the interaction of masculine and feminine energy inside of you. The circle of the yin-yang, it represents the unity of the whole. This curved line here represents the interaction between two opposing forces, and in this case it relates to the masculine, the white, and the feminine, the black. And in fact, we need to fill this circle in, don't we? Now, the lover energy is the feminine energy that grows out of the masculine. If I use the yin-yang as an example, when we have a very strong masculine center, the white part of ourselves, here, then this circle here represents the internal feminine that grows out of it. When we have a very strong masculine core, we reach the opposite, the feminine, that grows inside of us. Okay, it grows spontaneously outside of us. It is feminine, but it comes from a masculine root. This is of vital importance for us. We see that the same thing happens in the feminine side. When the woman, when she's in touch with her internal feminine, she grows a very small center of the masculine within her. It is a mustard seed of the opposite energy that grows inside of you. Now, we see this when it manifests in a woman, when it explodes, when that mustard seed erupts. Okay, it erupts in, when she goes on fire, when she goes crazy, when she yells in your face. That is the masculine side of her that wants to destroy. It comes from a feminine center, but when it expresses that itself in its opposite, it is very powerful. And the only way you can handle that is if you yourself have a very strong masculine core. Here, the feminine aspect, it expresses itself in a man as the lover. Do not make the mistake of thinking that this is a form of weakness, because it is not. If you deny this part, then you will pretty much destroy yourself. Whenever you deny this part and hold firm to the masculine, then this part here, the curved line here, the part that interacts with the woman, interacts with the world around you, that part is impaired. Okay, when you deny this and hold the white part here strong, the masculine too strong, then you hold it too strong. It's like you're trying to clench your muscle at its maximum intensity all the time, which is impossible. The muscle will destroy itself. And in the same way, you will destroy yourself. If you become too hard, you become brittle. And your relationships and your zest for life will flounder. So page 121. The lover is the archetype of play and of display, of healthy embodiment, of being in the world of sensuous pleasure and in one's own body without shame. The lover is deeply sensual. The lover is related and connected to them all, drawn into them through his sensitivity. His sensitivity leads him to feel compassionately and empathetically united with them. We believe that the man accessing the lover is open to a collective unconscious. A collective unconscious. In other words, this is the part that helps you relate with people, because we do not relate on a conscious level. We relate on an unconscious level. Activate the lover and you will connect to other human beings. This is where love comes from, man. This is where passion comes from. This is where your fuel comes from, your emotional fuel. When men are out of touch with their lover, they feel emotionally barren, and it is important to understand this. Along with sensitivity to all inner and outer things comes passion. The lover's connectedness is not primarily intellectual, it is through feeling. The primal hungers are felt passionately in all of us, at least below the surface. The man under the influence of the lover wants to touch and be touched. He wants to touch everything physically and emotionally, and he wants to be touched by everything. He recognizes that there are no boundaries. He wants to live out the connectedness he feels with the world inside, in the context of his powerful feelings, and outside, in the context of relationships and with other people. Ultimately, he wants to experience the world as a world of sensual experience in its totality. The lover energy is also the source of spirituality, especially of what we call mysticism. I believe that spirituality, if you go to any yoga class, it is an overabundance of women there, because there is a stigma against spirituality in men. This is of no surprise, because spirituality in its essence is a feminine phenomenon. However, if it is expressed healthily through the masculine, then it is of vital importance to men. I think we live in a culture where the masculine, the other three archetypes, are not developed fully. Therefore, when it comes down to it, when we have to go to a healthy feminine born from the masculine, we fear it. We don't want to deal with that, and that is because we are insecure in our masculinity. Access the spirituality inside of you, the mysticism inside of you. When you're able to do that, then you know your journey is, you'll come to the last legs of your journey, until, of course, your next journey. For the man accessing the lover, ultimately everything in life is experienced. While feeling the pain and the poignancy of the world, he feels great joy as well. The lover is what gives you joy in life, men. You have to embrace it. The lover is not then the only archetype of the joy in life. In his capacity to feel at once with others and with the world, he must also feel their pain. Other people may be able to avoid pain, but the man in touch with the lover must endure it. He feels the painfulness of being alive, for both himself and for others. The lover energy is utterly opposed, at least at first glance, to the other energies of the mature masculine. His interests are the opposites of the warriors, the magicians, and the kings, concerned for boundary, containment, order, and discipline. What is true within each man's psyche is true in the panorama of history and cultures as well, and it goes through how the lover has been suppressed throughout history, but it manifests itself in other ways. So the lover is in the opposite direction of the other three archetypes, but it balances them. It balances them so completely, which is why it is of most importance, and why this paradox archetype is often misunderstood and suppressed. The ways of life. What ways of life manifest the lover most clearly? There are two primary ones: the artist and the psychic. Painters, musicians, poets, sculptors, and writers are often mainlining the lover. The artist is well known to be sensitive and sensual. To see this, we only need to see the figures of Gangwon, nudes of Goya, sculptures, etc., etc., cool jazz. Artists' personal lives are typically, perhaps stereotypically, stormy, messy, and labyrinthine, full of ups and downs, failed marriages, and often substance abuse. They live very close to the fiery power of the creative unconscious. In a similar way, genuine psychics also live in the world of sensations and vibrations of deeply felt intuitions. Their conscious awareness, like that of the artist, is extraordinarily open to invasion from other people's thoughts and feelings, and from the murky realm of the collective unconscious. They seem to move in a world behind or beneath the world of daylight common sense. From this hidden world they receive, often in the form of almost inaudible words, gusts of strong feelings, unaccounted for smells, sensations of heat and cold not accessible to others, images of great horror and beauty, and clues about what is really going on with people. Of course, we feel him strongly in our love lives. In our culture, this is the main avenue most of us have for getting in touch with the lover. Many men literally live for the thrill of falling in love, that is, falling into the power of the lover. In his ecstatic consciousness, which comes to even the most hard-boiled of us, we delight in our beloved and cherish her in all her beauty and of body and soul. Through emotional and physical union with her, we are transported into a divine world of ecstasy and pleasure on the one hand, and pain and sorrow on the other. In other words, the lover will allow you to connect with a woman. It will allow you to connect with a woman. If you do not have the activated lover accessed in a healthy way, then, it's just an emotional barren land, man. If we are appropriately accessing the lover, this is page 140. If we are appropriately accessing the lover, by keeping our ego structures strong, we feel related, connected, alive, enthusiastic, compassionate, empathic, energized, and romantic about our lives, our goals, our work, and our achievements. It is the lover, properly accessed, that gives us a sense of meaning of what we have been calling spirituality. It is the lover who is the source of our longings for a better world for ourselves and others. It is who is the idealist and the dreamer. He is the one who wants us to have an abundance of good things. I have come to bring you life, that you might have it more abundantly, says the lover. The lover keeps the other masculine energies humane, loving, and related to each other and to the real life situation of human beings struggling in a difficult world. The king, warrior, and the magician, as we've suggested, harmonize pretty well with each other. They do because, without their lover, they are all essentially detached from life. They need the lover to energize them, to humanize them, and to give their ultimate purpose, love. They need the lover to keep them from becoming sadistic. The lover needs them as well. The lover without boundaries, in his chaos of feeling and sensuality, needs the king to define the limits for him, to give him structure, to order his chaos so that it can be channeled creatively. Without limits, the lover energy turns negative and destructive. The lover needs the warrior in order to be able to act decisively, in order to detach, with a clean cut of the sword, from the web of immobilizing sensuality. The lover needs the warrior to destroy the golden temple, which keeps him fixated. And the lover needs the magician to help him back off from the ensnaring effect of his emotions, in order to reflect and to get more objective perspective on things, to disconnect, enough at least to see the big picture and to experience the reality beneath the seeming. Thank you, men. In the next video, we'll be looking at the shadow aspects of the 4 archetypes, and from then on, we'll be doing some very serious work. Thank you.